In this video, I'm going to answer the question, what is the Stacey Matrix? The Stacey Matrix was developed by Ralph Douglas Stacey. It helps us to understand the factors that contribute to complexity and therefore to select our management approach accordingly. Stacey didn't design his Stacey Matrix to be appropriate to project management and delivery specifically. However, project managers are good at finding new tools and ideas and adapting them to our needs. So we can use the Stacey Matrix as a way to understand the complexity of a potential project and therefore to decide the best way to adapt our approaches and knowledge to delivering that project effectively. So the Stacey Matrix is a tool we use primarily in tailoring our project management process. As you might expect, there are different versions of the Stacey Matrix available to us at different levels of sophistication or simplicity. It's also worth mentioning that it's a complementary approach to that of the Cynefin framework, and you'll find many versions of the Stacey Matrix adopt very similar language. They are, however, different tools, and many people find the Stacey Matrix easier to understand than the Cynefin framework. If you want to know more about that, I'll put a link to my video on the Cynefin framework in the description. To my mind, the Stacey Matrix is simpler, and I value that simplicity, so I'm going to present to you a simple version of the Stacey Matrix, which has all of the important features. The Stacey Matrix starts with two dimensions. The first is the level of agreement or level of uncertainty in the requirements that we need to address. The second is the relative uncertainty or understanding of the technology we need to deliver the project. According to where a project might sit on these two dimensions, we can assess how simple, complicated, complex or chaotic the project is. Let's look at 5 zones on the Stacey Matrix. Let's start with simple projects that are close to agreement and high in understanding. These projects are considered simple because it is clear what the project needs to achieve and how it is best to achieve it. These projects need basic planning and a simple project process. Often, a lightweight form of predictive project management will serve this kind of project well. Next, we have projects where it is hard to reach agreement on what we need to deliver. However, there is a good understanding of how we will deliver it once we reach that agreement. Here, the situation is made complicated by the internal politics and the varying priorities of our stakeholders. Therefore, the skills we need to focus on are things like listening, coalition building, negotiating, conflict resolution, consensus forming, and decision making. For this kind of project, soft skills, or what the PMI has increasingly been calling power skills, are paramount in this form of complicated project. We also have another type of complicated project where we are close to agreement on what we need to achieve, but far from understanding the best way to achieve it. Here it is clear what stakeholders want and need, but we do not have a good enough understanding of the technology or the approaches that will best deliver it. Therefore, the key requirement here is good problem solving and thinking skills, a broad knowledge of the available approaches and the technologies that we could deploy. Often, there will need to be an extended discovery process, and not for discovering what we need to do, but for discovering the approaches that will work. We're likely to want to use pilots and prototypes, and it's here that an incremental and iterative approach is most likely to be valuable. Therefore, hybrid approaches to project delivery, where we have a clear project definition but some level of iteration, are going to be the most likely to succeed. At the far extreme of our Stacey Matrix map, we have an area which is far from an understanding of what the stakeholders want and need, and also one where we lack a clear understanding of how to deliver it. We can think of this as a chaotic zone. Management is going to be hard because in this zone, things tend to be chaotic, fluid, uncertain, and confused. In this zone, we need to deploy the widest possible range of tools to make sense of what is going on. And the ambiguity and the volatility of this area of the map means that it is sometimes called anarchic. So, look for project management methods that are well suited to constant short iterations and rapid review of what we've achieved. This calls for fully adaptive or agile approaches with little committed planning and rapid decision making. Because of the level of risk here, it's also well worth considering whether it is possible to split up or simplify the project in some way, or possibly whether it is worth the risk at all. There's a big intermediate zone that we haven't yet covered, which is often referred to as the zone of complexity. This is where you will need good facilitation skills to drive creative thinking and innovative ideas. Predetermined solutions are likely to be of very little use in this zone. The role of experts here is paramount, but they will be deploying not their experience, but their intuition in finding new ways to solve the difficult problems they face in the complex zone. We need to build short-term processes that will help us to solve one problem at a time, and to constantly review what we have learned from the progress we've made and be prepared to overhaul some of the decisions that we've made earlier. Solid, agile frameworks like Scrum and Kanban can work very well in this zone, as long as you're prepared to adapt them to the specific needs of the project at hand. The Stacey Matrix then is a simple tool for understanding the simplicity or complexity of a particular project. I, like many people, find it much easier to use and apply than the Cynefin framework. But if you're going to tailor your projects effectively and work at the very highest level, it pays to understand both frameworks and to draw from both of them in deciding the best way to deliver your project. Please do give this video a like if you've enjoyed it or learned from it. I'll be making loads more great project management videos for you, so please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of them. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.